Hola amigos! Today we're going to tackle about the factors of high population growth and the problems on population growth. Countries who are in the early stage of economic development tend to have higher rates of population growth because in our societies, children are seen as potential income earners. Why? Because if the parents don't have the state pension, they often want more children to act as an insurance kung matigulang na sila. It is expected that children will look after their parents in the old age because child mortality rates are often higher. Therefore, there is a need to have more children to ensure the parents have sufficient children to look after them in old age. In developed countries, education is usually compulsory until the age of 16, just like in the US. Since education becomes compulsory, therefore, children are no longer economic assets but economic cost. So, since gasto siya, mo bring up dyan siya og incentive to reduce family size. Maunang mo decrease ang population growth. But the problem here in the Philippines is that education is not compulsory at all. So, maong mo padayong lambu ang population growth. Again, in developed countries with high rates of return from education, parents have an incentive to have a lower number of children and spend more on their education. To give their children not just a standard education but a better education. To be able to give children the best start in life. Because of the social and cultural factors, maong dako ang family. For example, in India and China, sa katong time nga wa pa ma-implement ang one family policy. They have a strong social attachment in having large families. Maong daghan kaayo ilang population. In the developed world, smaller families are the norm. That is why they have a less population. Increased availability of contraception can enable women to limit family size closer to the desired level. In the developing world, the availability of contraception is more limited, and this can lead to unplanned pregnancies and more rapid population growth. That is why the government implemented the use of contraceptives. Female education and social mobility are often lower in societies where women gain a better education. There is a greater desire to put work over starting a family. In the developed world, women have often chosen to get married later and delay having children, or not at all, because they prefer to work and concentrate on their career. Often, death rates are reduced before a slowdown in birth rates, causing a boom in the population size at a certain point in a country's economic development. In the 19th and early 20th century, there was a rapid improvement in medical treatments, which helped to deal with many fatal diseases. Then, death rates fell and life expectancy increased, and again it leads to increase of population growth. If there are more people, more food supply is needed. When there is food shortage, this means there is not enough food supply to sustain the needs of the people. It will lead to panic buying, hoarding, and then prices of commodities also go up. There are only a few families who own their houses and lots. At times, in crowded areas, people build their houses along the railroads, riverbanks, and even along sidewalks. These people are called informal settlers. Too many people compete with one another for the limited jobs that are available. Unfortunately, the government cannot provide enough jobs for every job applicant. Many applicants end up underemployed, working in jobs way below their educational qualifications and attainment. Due to big population, unemployment, hunger, homelessness, sickness, and frustrations, many people resort to survive. This leads to a rise in criminality that endangers the peace and security of the country. Malnutrition due to lack of food and food nutrients, unsanitary surroundings due to indiscriminate garbage disposal, poor hygiene and poor health, and lastly, presence of diseases like bronchitis among babies, diarrhea, and tuberculosis. When there are many people producing garbage, we need more space for garbage. Rooting garbage gives off poisonous gas called methane. This gas adds to air pollution. Heaps of garbage that easily decay are biodegradable, and those that do not are non-biodegradable, like pieces of plastics or plastic bags. And those plastic materials clogging in estuaries and canals contribute to flooding. In crowded communities, many people are prone to polluted air, contaminated water, and noisy environment. As the population grows, more industries and factories are built. These give off harmful gases and chemicals like nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, and lead. Water is also polluted in crowded communities.